Welcome to Cooking with Me with Rob, that's me. Today is Chocolate National World, Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. And so we are going to go back to the vault of Disney. And today we are making Jack Num Num cookies. So excited. Yay! Rob's got the best cooking show on YouTube. Yeah, all right. So we're going to do all the steps with you, and then we're going to eat some delicious cookies. Step number 1. This is a very, very important step, and there's a few tips that you're going to need in this step to be successful today. We're going to brown some butter, folks. Now, listen, the deal with browning butter is I kind of have to go against my better judgment and step away from margarine for a skip. Just because I don't know if we can brown margarine as good as we can brown butter. So you're going to end up going down to your freezer because you probably love margarine as much as I do. So your butter just stays in the freezer. Grab your butter and it's going to be frozen. So we need to cut, right? Half. But did you see that? That wasn't very good. That was hard. It's a hard thing to do. So what we've done is actually we've pre-softened it slightly in the microwave. I'm going to heat this up. This is tip number 1. Tip number 1 is get your blade nice and hot. Okay. Let's get that guy in there. Get it really nice and hot, folks. Because you want it to cut through like butter. Okay, let's try that out. Nice and hot. You have to be very careful here because if you're like some people, your knife will just slip out and you'll cut your own hand. But not me because of tip number 1. Okay, now, just in case you look at, sometimes when we cut things, do they end up perfect? No, they don't. But what do I always say about perfection? Perfection is stupid. So we are going to do this. We are going to take the bigger chunk and we are going to put that in our pot just in case, because we don't want it to be less buttery. We want it to be more buttery. Come over to your stove. What you're going to do is you're going to put that on a medium. Medium means kind of like middle, in case you didn't know. So put that in the middle and grab a whisk. I decided that we're going to use a spoon. Some of you might want to use a whisk, but don't do that. And you're going to do this. It might feel weird at first, like you're not really accomplishing much, but you are. Now, okay, tip number 2, and this is vital to your Jack Num Nums cookies. You can't just put this on and walk away and go start playing video games. You can't just do this and go have a shower. You have to stay here and stir this. Why? Because butter burns easy. Really easy. And so you have to make sure you're sticking around, you're hanging out, and you're stirring. Seriously, just sit here and stare at it and stir. And if you have people to talk to on YouTube, do that. But if you don't, just sit there and stare and stir. Shannon, hurry up. You've got to get the camera working. It's starting to... Oh, okay. So we're back. It's starting to foam around the edges. What you're looking for is a nice golden brown. And guys, when you're browning butter, you only have a small window of opportunity to get this off or it's going to burn and you don't want it to burn. So you're waiting for this nice golden brown now. See, look, come in and look a little bit. There was foam around the edges. We got it still, right? We got to keep stirring. You don't ever stop the stirring or that's where you're going to get burnt butter. And do we want burnt butter? No. Probably only margarine can handle being burnt. I don't think butter can handle that. Anyways, so we keep going. Okay, guys. I don't want to bore you with that stirring because that wasn't vigorous stirring. That was just kind of medium stirring. But look at that. Nice and brown. We're taking it off because you don't want it to burn, and we're dumping it into a heat-resistant bowl. And that's what we have. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So now we have our delightful browned butter, and we're gonna take that because it needs to cool off again. We're gonna stick it in the fridge, mostly because we don't like waiting for stuff. And it needs to kind of start solidifying again before you can use it. Okay, welcome back. We have let our browned butter cool at a temperature of whatever the freezer is, and look at that. Look at that right there. Wait, somebody stuck their finger in there. Anyways, okay, so now we are going to mix our browned butter, our brown sugar, there's a theme here, our white sugar, and our salt all together. You're gonna need 1 1/4 cups of brown sugar. You're going to need 1/4 cups of white sugar. We're shooting a show here. Okay. We are going to need a teaspoon of salt. That's what all the best bakers do. If you get a little salt, and one of the shoulders, one's bad luck, I think, and one's good luck. You can cut that nonsense out. Okay, now, we're gonna use I call it an egg beater. Some people call it a hand mixer. Does it really matter? Don't start out too fast, people, because when you do, it goes crazy. You know that from my show. Have you ever tried browned butter before? It is a delight. It is a good thing. All right, you get that rolling. I'm gonna give it a little snot this time. All righty. Just let that get off of there. Set your hand mixer to the side and eat some. Tastes like Score bars. All right, so now our next step, we are going... Listen, we're trying to shoot a very important show here. We need quiet on the set. Okay, so we need to add in our vanilla. If you are a really good baker, you do what I do. We need 1 tablespoon. That was about exactly 1 tablespoon. Okay, so we've got that. Teaspoons, not tablespoons. That was 1 teaspoon. Okay, so now we need 1 egg and we need 1 egg yolk. How do you do that, right? Well, as a super professional baker, first you do the one-handed egg crack. Okay, so now we have 1 egg in there, but now we need a yolk. So what do? We do the super awesome trick that all the bakers do, maybe. Okay, we're gonna get it in the full side first, and this is gonna be tricky. Let the gloopiness fall out first because it'll try and suck the yolk in with it. It's one of its favorite things to do. But if you're awesome like me, you just do that a little bit. And now we're good, actually, because do you think these cookies really know if there's a slight bit of egg white in there? No, they don't. The key, the best key, listen. Tip number 2. 3, just find double yolk eggs. Keep cracking them until you find one that has 2 yolks in it, and boom, you're good to go. Okay, now we have that. We're coming back in, people. We're going for it. Make sure you get all that butter goodness on the side, because that buttery goodness on the side, it tries to stay there, but you want it in or else it's not going to be as good and buttery as it should be. All right. Look at that, guys. Look at that. That just looks like a treat, doesn't it? Mmm. It's very important that the baker test every step of the way. That is a really good thing. Okay, now we're gonna add in our dry ingredients. And our dry ingredients, which is kind of weird because I kind of think of sugar as a dry ingredient, but apparently Disney doesn't. So we're gonna mix in our dry ingredients. That is 2 1/4 cups of flour with a teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, so there we go. And use the guy with the muscles. Use that one. Okay. And then grab your spatula. Remember, don't accidentally grab your flipper. Grab your spatula. And let's get this yummy awesomeness out of there and into here. Oh, oops. All right. Okay. Now, let's do it. Let's make some dough. All right, guys. Here we go. Yummy, yummy. That looks so good, doesn't it? One final step that you better not forget for chocolate chip cookies is your chocolate chips. You might want to get adventurous with these. Who knows? Maybe you want to put in the caramel ones or butterscotch ones, or maybe you want the dark chocolate ones. I chose the boring ones. You want a cup of them, 1 cup. But if you accidentally put in too many, that's okay too. Then we need to mix that up again. Otherwise you end up with your chocolate chips in the wrong spot. You'll have one really chocolatey cookie and the rest will not be. But you don't have to go crazy with this. You just, we've got our homogeneity already, so we don't need to worry too much about this, except that we need it to get nicely all over the place. So we have a good disbursement of chocolate chips. Ooh. This is going to be some of my finest work. I'm just going to go in one more time with the spoon. And you say, why would you do that? Well, look, I don't know that the hand mixer knew what it was doing. I don't know that it's in all the right spots. So I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to check and I'm going to make sure that our chocolate chips are well dispersed. So then your next step is to take that, make room in your fridge. Oh, margarine. Okay? They say to put it in for an hour. I just think that that's nonsense because who can wait an hour to make their cookies? This is tip number 4 for you. If you have trouble telling between Celsius and Fahrenheit, Celsius is what I'm putting it in. That's what we use in Canada, okay? But in America, you're gonna use 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And how to remember? Well, just think of it like the dollar, right? If you're from Canada, yours is worthless. Hi. We're back. Okay, so if your oven is anything like mine, it took a good half a day to heat up. And I figure by the time I'm doing this next stage, it'll probably be ready. So what we need to do, and this is going to be tip number 5 for you people. There's a COVID out there right now, and so it makes going places very difficult. And you might not just have the proper accoutrements for your Jack Jack Yum Yum cookies. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our own. We're gonna take little muffin cupcake things and we are gonna make cookie things. Okay, so we want a cookie that size is kind of crazy, but a cookie that size is a little better. So let's just take it, go to the edges. This is not just a baking show, it's also a little arts and crafts for you. Okay, and you're gonna go and you're gonna fold up these edges all the way around. Okay, again, are we shooting for perfection, people? No. Okay, so your cookie dough should have nicely cooled a little bit and helped it to even get a little more solidification. So now, after we've made our little cookie holders, as I like to call them, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna grab a handful of dough, we're gonna make a dough ball, okay? You're gonna pop it right on there, and you're gonna give it a nice little squish down, getting everything nicely in place. But do you see a problem here, folks? I do. That doesn't look like a chocolate chip cookie. That looks like a cookie with a smattering of some chocolate on it. So, tip number, I think it's 6. Have a side bowl of chocolate chip cookies, not only for yourself, but also to place nicely. Look at that. Look at that. Do you think I should put one more on there? I do. All right. And then you're just going to continue on making your balls of dough until they're filled up. Okay. So now we're going to take them and we're going to stick them in the oven. Watch out for that air, that hair burning air. All right. You're going to pop these in here. These little delightful ladies. That's what I call them. You're going to put them in for 7 to 10 minutes. So what we'll do is we'll set our timer for 7 minutes and check them there. All right. We're going to check it. We actually went a little longer than 7 minutes. We went already about, but look at that. Like that's still dough, people. It's very warm on the finger too. We're going to let that sit for another couple minutes. That's just, and that was at about 9 minutes. 3, 2, 1. Poof. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Those aren't done. We're going to check it every 2 minutes now. Now, guys, don't think that just because that this isn't working out in time, like they said 7 to 10 minutes, and we're pushing about 14 minutes here. There are a number of factors that come into play. So before you think that Disney's a big fat liar on this one, understand that our oven is a piece of junk. So there's quite a strong possibility that it doesn't know how to bake things. What a delightful treat we have here, people. Okay. Just take them off now, because you're going to need them to cool down a little bit. Because your kids, if they go to start eating them right away, they're going to burn their little tonguesies. And you don't want that. That makes you a bad parent. But we aren't. We are good parents here, aren't we? We're the kind of parents who make our kids Disney cookies. And there you have them, folks. Look at those. Look at those. Jack Jack Yum Yum cookies. Let's see what the kids think. All right, guys. Are you ready for some Jack Jack Num Num cookies? Yeah. Would you like a glass of milk with it?
Yes, please.
Dig in. Hot?
Yeah.
It's hot. Break off a piece.
Okay.
They're yummy.
Are they yummy?
Yes.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
The browned butter. Mmm. That is a scrumptious treat.
You're just drinking hastily, right?
Is it good?
Are they yummy? I hope she thinks they're yummy.
She likes it.
She is gonna think they're yummy. Who will think they're super?
Because we only want the yolk here, people. So you got to do this trick, right? Whoa, whoa. Okay. So that failed epically.